unknown possibilities, where any comic book movie can come to the screen, even if it's morbing time. A gent and a weeb present to you Undisputed Nerds. Hello, everybody. I am the Gentlemanly Gamer. Welcome in to this week's Undisputed Nerds, where we talk about all things comic book movie news, blah, 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 and take a light-hearted stab at the week. We talk about everything on this show. The man you hear laughing is my compadre, my companion, my friend till the end, Zane Taicho. Take it away, Zane.
Oh, a new one.
Good mix it up
morning. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome to the
not
pod.
good night. Not yet. Don't fall asleep during our podcast.
No.
Guys, we are coming at you live. Well, not really live. You'll listen to it recorded, but
we used to do that live.
We used to do it live many moons ago. This week we're going to be talking about the recently released Star Wars Andor. Thrilling spy Star Wars drama. But Zane, how have you been this week? How you been doing? You've been having a good week? What's been going down?
Yeah, I am absolutely knackered. Like, I am absolutely bamboozled. Yesterday,
bamboozled or knackered?
Well, a bit of both.
For any non-English listeners, by the way, knackered means exhausted, very tired. He is.
Yesterday, I recorded a special episode of Undisputed Anime. You know, that podcast you can't stand.
It's not that I can't stand it. It's that I never get invited on it to discuss my anime views, and it makes me furious.
Which are all zero. There's like no.
That's not true. That's not true. I said to you. We can get into a fight at the beginning of the podcast already. I said to you, the new Cyberpunk Edge Runners animes come out on Netflix, and I'd quite like to come on the show and talk about it with you. I said that to you a few weeks ago. I said it's coming out, and yes. I also watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anime specifically so I could come on.
You watched in secret, and then you were like, "I watched it."
Yeah, I watched it because I knew that your co-host was going to be away that week. So I said, "I'll come on the show and talk about that with you. No problem."
The whole idea that you've watched it in secret but hate watched it.
It wasn't that I hate watching it. It was that I hated it because it was awful. But that's not the point. I didn't watch it in secret. I told you I did it.
After you did it.
What am I supposed to? What am I supposed to preempt? This shouldn't be used on the show. What are you doing? You're ruining all the intros, Zane. Honestly, we can't have a fight at the beginning of the show. It's not good. This is the kind of angry stuff we should do off air.
This is true. But it's a good dynamic. People get an insight into how the real dynamic is behind the curtain.
How dare you? What, you mean me trying to do you a favor and you being like, I don't need you?
It's like a CM Punk scrum.
Honestly, I feel like I need a muffin to eat.
I'm old, I'm tired.
I'm working with kids. It could literally have been me. Anyway, yes. So that's good. So you've done, what was your special Undisputed Anime episode then? Come on, plug away.
So we had special guests from another podcast called Super Anime Podcast, and they were high energy, lots of singing, lots of shouting. It was a wild episode, which will be coming out at the beginning of October.
Great. I really look forward to us having some special guests. When is that going to happen again, Zane?
Soon.
Oh, right.
Make sure to email nerds@undisputed.
You are a monster. You're a monster in disguise. You know that. Well, that's
busy
good.
man.
You're apparently so. Yeah. This
Yeah.
is the lead in to announce that he's leaving Undisputed Nerds, and he's not going to do it with me anymore because he doesn't like me secretly. You know, after I called him a friend to the end at the beginning of the show, he pulls this on me.
So, did you watch Cyberpunk then? How did you feel about Cyberpunk?
I haven't watched it yet. No, because I wanted.
No.
I was waiting to do it so that I could come on the anime show.
Oh.
But yes, I'm quite excited to see it. Doesn't matter now, though, does it, Zane? You've ruined it. Broken my heart. I've already had a bad week. I've had a rough week. I told you I had a rough week, and then you saved it until we were on air to discuss Undisputed Anime. It's because your other co-host hates me, isn't it? That's why.
I can't confirm or deny.
Elliot, if you're out there, he's turned us against each other. Let's break off and go and form our own podcast. I'm calling it now.
What is that going to be? Undisputed Geeks?
Undisputed everything. Undisputed everything everywhere all at once.
Amazing.
Well, how's my week been? I'm glad you asked, Zane. A bit rubbish. I've been watching She-Hulk though. That's good. That was interesting. Looking forward to our series review of that. If you haven't kicked me off the show by then. And what else? What else has been going on? Doing a lot of I might as well self-promote my own channel as well. Doing a lot of Twitch stuff, Zane. Gentlemanly Gamer, twitch.tv, Gentlemanly Gamer. Yeah, doing a lot of Twitch streaming this week. It's been nice going through some old school games. Yeah, I've been doing some Resident Evil again. I've been going back to old school Resident Evil, Dreamcast, if you will. Resident Evil Code Veronica X. She's been using brand X. If you know what film that's from, then I'll love you forever.
Don't think I could say.
It's Batman. It's Batman. It's Batman 89. When Joker's doing the advert and he walks in and there's the lady just dead and she's like really sad. And she's going, uh-oh, she's been using brand X.
Oh dear.
Yeah, there's a niche reference for you. But yeah, no, that's been going very well. So I've been enjoying that. But yeah, other than that, just the usual, you know. It's good that we don't open the show with weather reports now. We just open the show with arguments.
Yeah, I think it will just people weigh in, leave a comment.
We're going to be one of those podcasts that people like reviews and just go, why do they always have these podcasts where people just moan at each other throughout the entire thing and they don't seem to even like each other when they work together? Why do they even do it? Are they just doing it for the fame? Yes, I'm just doing it for the fame. That's all I care about.
Pay me.
I'm glad you asked. Yes, give me my money. Give me that delicious sponsorship money. Insert Surfshark advert here. Zane, did you know that I love to surf?
No, I didn't.
I know, it's amazing. You'd never believe it looking at me, but I am an avid surfer. Not of the sea, though. Oh, no. I am a surfer of the World Wide Web, my friend. And let me tell you something. When I go surfing, I definitely need some protection. Not the usual kind of wetsuit, though. I need some VPN. Do you know what VPN means, Zane?
I don't. What's a VPN?
Well, it would be a virtual private network. And let me tell you, we here at Undisputed Nerds are being sponsored this week. And a big thank you to the episode sponsor, Surfshark VPN. You can get Surfshark VPN 83% off and 3 months free, Zane, if you go to surfshark.deals/undisputed-nerds and enter in the promo code Undisputed Nerds. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which opens up a whole world of content library, Zane. So think about it this way. If you're in the UK, you can watch US Netflix, which has a far bigger selection of movies. You can get all of your Batfleck content that I know you love, Zane. I know you're looking for. If you're outside of the UK as well, you can watch amazing apps like BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE Network with its far superior functionality. We've been using, me and Zane have been using Surfshark here at Undisputed Nerds for a while. It is our official VPN, and it doesn't just let us gain access to all the comic book movies, but it also secures our networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping our location and download history private, thankfully, so that people can't see me purchasing wetsuits. My favorite feature on the Surfshark, it knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection, like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent interference. It's like having, I don't know, Batfleck's Justice League for your phone, Zane.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I know you've got a lot of Batfleck on your phone right now. So sign up to Surfshark today by using our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/undisputed-nerds, where you'll get, again, 83% off and your first 3 months free if you use the code undisputed-nerds. We really appreciate if you just at least check them out, as they're a great company and we love working with them. Support Undisputed Nerds and support your internet privacy with Surfshark. So anyway, let's get past all this now, Zane. Let's move on. Let's get
Okay.
back into our cheery selves. I think
All right.
the reason why we might be a little bit heated is that I think you've got some stuff to say about Andor a bit later, don't you?
Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
before we get into our Andor, let's call them rants. We have new segments on the show this week, don't we, Zane? We started it last week.
Yep.
So obviously, celebrity weirdness / Nick Cage news has gone away for a little while, because I've delved into the plethora of Batman murder, and it turns out there's been a lot of it. So for those of you who are new to listening to this show, I'm very sorry for how the intro went, but this is a segment called Batman 360 No Scope, where we take a look at some of the. Well, I say take a listen to some of the murders that Batman has done over the years, and then as a special challenge, we ask Zane to try and identify the film, the year, and who he's murdered. Obviously, join in at home, have a listen, and you'll know. So let's just get into the flavour of it first, Zane. So you got a little audio clip for us there? Little audio clip?
Here we go.
All right, cut it. We can't afford anymore. Good. Right. Okay. Cool. It's good. Yes. Nice. Yes. So a little bit of the Batman theme there. That's good. Okay. So, Zany baby. So, and everyone listening on the podcast at the moment, here is the latest clip for the Batman 360 No Scope. Remembering, we're looking for film, year, and who he's murdering.
Okay. Here we go.
It's a toughie this week. I told you it'd be a toughie this week. So, film, year, and who he killed. Any ideas? Do you need to hear it again, Zane? He's thinking, guys. I can tell you right now, for those of you who are listening and not watching, the look of suspense on his face is unbelievable. I've stumped him this week. I'm proud of it.
I'm split down the middle of what it could be. So because of the sort of gizmo noise at the beginning,
Right.
I think it's Batman 89 when he's in the Batwing and he has that little like scope thing that comes out.
Do you want to listen to it one more time?
I'm gonna have a listen. Here we go.
Have a listen one more time. Headphone warning, guys.
Now the other oh no.
Oh wait, hang on. The penny might have just dropped. I've seen that look in his eyes. Do you want a hint?
It's definitely a Batman movie, right?
yeah. Yes, that's your hint. It's definitely a Batman movie.
Okay. I think it might be the chase scene in Batman v Superman.
Is that what you're going for?
I'm not sure. Is that what I'm going for? The chase scene in Batman v Superman.
Have you got it at home, ladies and gentlemen? Have you worked out which one it is? You've identified as a vehicle, at least. So that's a good thing.
I'm not confident enough to say it's like during.
Do you want a hint? I'll give you a hint.
Okay, I'm gonna hate myself for it.
It's a road vehicle.
Okay, so it definitely is a Batmobile chase scene.
Yes, it is.
There's no way it's going to be, with that amount of explosion, it's not going to be one of those snow buggies on ice from Batman and Robin. So it is a Batmobile.
You're going to absolutely kick yourself when this one's over.
I don't think it's Batman and v Superman because I remember there was like operatic music in the background.
and machine guns.
And machine guns, yeah.
And Batfleck just yelling out, screaming in delight as he murders people.
Yeah. Is it? Okay, now I'm with it. Is it Batman Begins?
No. All right, you get one more chance. This is it. This is the last one, and then I'm going to tell you so that we're
So
not just doing dead air to our listeners.
if it's not Batman Begins, I think it might be Dark Knight then.
Okay.
And I'm guessing it's where it transforms into a Batpod.
You are incorrect. So,
Oh,
you got the right movie. You didn't give me the year either, by the way.
2006?
2008, my friend.
Oh.
So it was the Dark Knight in 2008. That is
Hmm.
the moment where it is the chase sequence where Jim Gordon is escorting Harvey Dent in the underground tunnels, and they are being chased by a garbage truck. And then Batman turns up in the Batmobile and pancakes the garbage truck into the ceiling, crushing the compartment and clearly killing the man inside.
Yes. Yeah.
It is an amazing moment, and it comes out of nowhere, which is why the guy who's sitting next to Jim Gordon goes, "Look out!" Because Batman just comes careening through and just stomps this guy up into the ceiling, clearly murdering him.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's an unlucky miss this
Ah.
week, Zany baby. It's an unlucky miss this week. But that was
Tricky.
this
Mm.
week's Batman 360 No Scope. Did you get it at home? Did you guys get it at home? Let us know in the comments, or let us know by writing into us. We will leave all the info down in the about section on whatever platform that you're downloading it from. But yeah, love those. There'll be more next week. There'll be an easier one for you next week, Zane. We'll give you a nice smooth readjustment. We'll give you a Batfleck one next week. Don't worry, I'll ease you into a Batfleck
No.
one. I know how much you love them. So yeah, more from Batman 360 No Scope next week. But now, Zane, we're on to the main event of this week.
Hmm.
And the main event was something that I know we were both looking forward to.
So much we thought it was the season finale of She-Hulk this week.
Yep, I had no idea that Andor was out this week. Star Wars Andor. Yes, it is the continuing adventures, even though he's
Mhm.
dead, of Cassian Andor, where we see the early days of him before he would do the events in Rogue One. If you haven't seen Rogue One, by the way, I've just spoiled the ending for you. Congratulations, you're welcome. It's 5 years old, 6 years old, however old it is. Get over it. Mm. So, Zane, we're
Yeah.
going to do an episode 1 review. Whether or not we
Hmm.
do a series review, I don't know yet. Bearing in mind, I think you've got quite a lot to say about it, don't you? Um, but why don't we start with what you think the plot of the first one was? What's going on with Cassian Andor?
The plot of episode 1. Okay.
Is it that much of a struggle?
So I guess the plot is Cass is
Big Cass.
Cassan is looking for his sister,
Hmm.
and it seems that he's not doing too well at finding her. So he goes back home, and back home, everyone wants Cassan to pay them because he owes
Yep.
them money. He's down on his luck. He's a man without direction, and uh, Cassan.
Cassan. Yeah, he's something of almost a kind of stranger danger spy, and Big Cass. You can't teach that, can you, Zane? You can't teach that. Uh,
Very true.
yeah, I have to be honest with you, and you're going to be
Hmm.
surprised at me saying this. I actually enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I did, yeah, yeah. The reason, and I'll tell you the reason why. Right, so um, Star Wars for me, like
Hmm.
the base of Star Wars. Okay, the original films, they are what they are. The
Hmm.
prequels, they come with their own flair. They're fondly looked upon now by certain people as like what they grew up with. So people look back on it now with fond memories. 7, 8, 9. We'll talk about those in 20 years. Anyway, um, but this, I will say this right now.
Hmm.
To me, this feels like nothing else in Star
Hmm.
Wars at the moment.
Yep.
It felt like um, it felt extremely. This is going to sound like a weird thing to say. It felt extremely grown up to me.
Hmm.
It didn't feel like
100%.
this. This was not for kids, And I think it's this, it's kind of a similar. I mean, they've obviously tried to keep a lot of vibes from Rogue One,
Mm.
when that was released, because obviously he's the main lead in Rogue One, so they want to continue kind of some of it. And I feel like we got a little bit of a glimpse of some of the gritty underworld stuff that you saw at the beginning of Rogue One, where he just murders that guy in the street.
Mm.
Um, I think I loved seeing the corporation world at the beginning of the episode that he goes to, where he's going to this seedy like brothel that shouldn't exist on this nightclub world, or this corporation world, and it's like, but you see
Yeah.
like the kind of different species interacting with each other and the different nightlife that it is there and stuff, and
Hmm.
it just visually speaking, it looked fantastic. I will say it did kind of look a bit more future noiry than I was expecting it to. Like it looked a bit cyberpunky at the beginning. I was like, that's kind of a weird interpretation of that city. Did you think that as well, or am I off the
No, no,
wall there?
100%. Like, and I guess like, whilst we're on the subject of the visuals, like that opening 10 minutes felt like I was watching the most Star Wars esque Blade Runner I think I've
Yeah,
ever seen.
yeah,
Like, and I really liked that. I was like, oh my god, this is something special.
yes.
Um,
They're clearly trying to go for something not been done before with Star Wars,
mm,
which is good. I like that a lot. And
hmm
the thing, Diego Luna's really good, and he's always been good as Cassian Andor. Like he was excellent in Rogue One, he's excellent in
yeah,
this. Um, the other characters, you didn't really get much of a sense of many other characters in it. You kind of
mm,
had these weird like Imperial sentries. Oh, we're doing full spoilers, by the way, guys, in case you weren't aware right now. But yeah, just to give a precursor to this. But you've got these weird Imperial sentries who aren't, they're kind of corporate sentries, but they also work for the Empire, because everyone
hmm
seems to work for the Empire in this era. And you've got this particular, well, there's a scuffle basically. There's a scuffle that happens with Andor where he annoys the wrong Imperial sentries, and then he ends up having a fight with them and killing them.
hmm
And then he gets a particularly plucky investigator who seemingly wants to track him down and find out who killed these men. That for me was a little bit of a weak link, because it was just kind of like, well, what's your motivation for doing this? Was one of them your dad or something like that, or were you related to them?
yeah,
Why are you going to all this effort for what seems like effectively two nobodies who just died? You know what I mean?
hmm
I know it's
yeah,
a callous way of looking at it, but it was a lot of work. Um, but it was cool that they had that kind of like, this is going to be like a weird like kind of spy chase almost kind of thing. So as
yeah,
you said, like Diego Luna, Cassian Andor's looking for his sister. He has no idea where she is.
hmm
Um, and then now he's going to be pursued by this kind of rugged investigator. I guess rugged is not the right word. Young investigator. Um, so it's kind of like a weird spy, like,
Catch me if you can.
yeah. I was thinking like Tinker Tailor Soldier Star Wars, like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And it was good. Like it was very tense, and it was very like well thought out. Is like you can tell it's not, they're playing. I don't know what 2 and 3 are going to be like, because I've only seen episode 1 so far, but
hmm
like you can tell they're kind of playing the long game with it.
Mm,
Um, the things I didn't like was the flashbacks. I
yeah.
didn't enjoy the flashbacks. I thought they were really hamstrung and just forced in there. It's like I don't need you to establish how special your sister is to you. I get it. Like I understand.
But here's the weird thing, and I don't know if you had this as well. As I was watching the flashbacks, I was like, where are the subtitles? And I
Mm,
purposely went to English subtitles, and it just says speaking in
yeah,
the
right.
native language. Yeah.
That really drove me nuts. I was like, wait, hang on. Are we supposed to understand this, or is this supposed to be like a hidden language that we're not supposed to get? Because like they do it in House of Dragons, they speak Dothraki, and it's like, you know, like,
But
or Valerian. Sorry, they speak Valerian, not
but
Dothraki. God, I'm gonna get
subtitles
in trouble with
appear.
that.
But subtitles appear for that, and
Yeah,
historically
exactly.
speaking, like in Star Wars, there's always been some sort of translator for the audience.
Yeah,
But I guess this is like the first time where no, you have to understand from their body language what they're talking about, and
imagine
understand
if
it.
it's imagine if it's misinterpreted completely, and like when she's walking away, all she's saying to him is, "Can you get me a cupcake?" It's not even anything special. It's not, or it's just like Emperor Palpatine's my dad. That's what the reveal is. Yeah, I didn't like the flashbacks. I didn't think they worked very well. But conceptually speaking, everything else that was in the show, like even the minor world, like I guess this is one of the things where they always like I always get kind of questioned about Star Wars because people criticize the prequels and stuff like that when they say,
hmm
um, everything looks so clean. Everything is really clean in the prequels, and it's all really like shiny and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's because there was a war that happened like not long after the prequels that just decimates the entire galaxy called the Clone
Yeah.
Wars, and then in 4, 5, and 6, the Empire controls everything. So they've
hmm
hoarded all of the best technology and all the best resources and everything to make everything that they have shiny and spangly, and the rest of the world is made to suffer. That's the whole point of it. And in Andor, we really see the core world's suffering. Like you see the miners, like doing their daily jobs and just struggling to get by. Similar thing in Obi-Wan actually, where the blubber whale, where they're like just
Yeah.
trying to make ends meet on Tatooine and stuff like that. So I don't know who was Dave Filoni responsible for this as well,
Nope.
or he's not involved in it. I feel
Nope.
like he must have had a hand in it at some point because they are doing a really good job at making um like making the world feel very real. This
hmm
is a world I can kind of. I mean, it's ridiculous, obviously. It's a you've got lightsabers and laser guns, but like by the same token, it's like it's a world that I could believe living in. Because
Yeah.
there are these worker problems, there are these struggles, and then Cassian Andor's just wafting through life like it doesn't even matter.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that because for me personally, this feels like the most realistic Star Wars has felt in a very long time. Like as you say, it feels like real people with real issues and problems and such, um, doing real manual work
Yeah,
and things of that nature. I think, and again, credit where credit is due. Like a majority of this is realistic. It's real sets. It's not like that weird, massive. I don't know what it's called now, projector screen that they've been using for
yes,
Mando. Uh,
yeah,
so this is expensive as it looks. So yeah, I
yeah,
really enjoy the visual parts of it, 100%. And yeah, I guess for me, so as I mentioned, I really like the first half of this, and I really enjoyed. I know you haven't seen it yet, but I really enjoyed episode 2 and 3. It's just
okay,
like the second half of this, I was completely lost, and like, dare I say, I nearly fell asleep. Like, I've really struggled to stay engaged with it. Um, but I think that was because there was certain things that I was left questioning, and I had to kind of go back and either rewatch it or find out. So, for example, that corporation you mentioned, I was like, is this some sort of weird Imperials because they got blue suits and not black suits,
hmm
and things of that nature. And it's only then I've realized they're like a corporate security company that's hired by the Empire
yeah,
to look after these like smaller planets and stuff.
yeah.
Um,
I'm not gonna get political on this, but like it's the equivalent of having a government that gives special contracts to certain people that should or
yeah,
shouldn't be involved in it. That's yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, that's what it's like because they're I can't remember, is this set? Yeah, this is set. So this is 5 years before episode 4.
Plus, it's funny you should mention that this is the first time in Star Wars like canon they've referred to it as BBY
Yeah, I
5.
did notice that. Is it battle before? It's battle before Yavin or something, or
Yeah, Battle
something
Before
before
Yavin.
Yavin.
Yeah.
I don't know what it. Yeah, I don't know what it would be, but something before Yavin. I get that because that's when the second, was it the first Death Star died at Yavin, or is it? I never. Yeah, because the moon of Endor is Return of the Jedi. So yeah, Yavin
hmm
4 is episode 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. Um, yeah, yeah, it is the first time they've used. Is it the first time they've used that, or did they use it in Boba Fett?
No, no, because apparently, like, it's only been referred to in books and like
Hmm.
uh legacy stuff.
Yeah, they do normally have like a timeline, a Star Wars timeline that runs
Mm,
through the books. That's very interesting. I wonder if they're going to
Mm.
incorporate more legacy stuff then, because that would make a lot more sense. I mean, it does. I can see that getting very confusing for casual people, though. For casual viewers, what the hell's
Yeah.
BBY mean? What is that? What?
BBY5.
It's true. Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
confusing. There. Is that the name of the robot? Oh, who was adorable, by the way. I love that robot. I absolutely like Cassian Andor's droid. I feel really bad because I want to know what happens to him after Andor dies. I want to make sure that droid is kept safe because, like, that droid is absolutely adorable. He like hides inside his own shell. It's so cute, Zane.
It is very adorable, especially how it stutters as well because it's old.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
like that. It's a real nice
He's got
feature.
memory problems. I love it. He's adorable. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else we've get introduced to. So we get Bix Colleen in this, played by Adria Arjona, the daughter, the son. I almost said the daughter of Andy Garcia.
Oh,
Mm. You've no idea who Andy Garcia is, do you? Look at you, lost.
the name sounds familiar, but I can't remember why.
He's in Ocean's 11. He's the bad guy in Ocean's 11. He's also in Godfather Part 3.
I
He's
watched
Michael
part one.
Corleone's son.
Okay, I watched part one the other day actually.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he's not in
Yeah.
Part 1. He's in Part
No,
3.
he's like part one.
Yeah, anyway. Adria Arjona, the last time I saw her, she was whisked to a rooftop in everyone's favorite Morbius film, Morbius.
Fantastic.
She's the Doctor in Morbius. Yeah, that's the last time I've seen her in something. I mean, she stepped up in the world coming to Star Wars, is all I'll say.
Oh, this is a little side note, but
All right, go on.
Matt Smith's been doing a load of interviews and such for House of Dragons. I don't know if you've seen.
Is he wishing he's never done Morbius?
Well, the funny thing is, the first story is someone interviewed him and said, "Would you rather come back to Doctor Who with Karen Gillan or do Morbius 2?" And he said,
God,
without a hesitation, he said Doctor Who.
of course.
Doctor Who,
Of course he did.
yeah. But he said, like, I'd love to still do Morbius 2.
He is a professional.
Mm,
He's incredibly like I. This is going off topic. We're gonna have a Matt Smith podcast now. We'll just talk about Matt Smith for a while. But like that man is one of the way that I would like to attribute Matt Smith is
mm,
ultimate talent, really poor decisions because
yeah.
he picks clangers of Hollywood films, like absolute clangers. You know, I mean, like off the top of my head, Morbius and Terminator Genesis are right up there. You know, he was going to be in Rise of Skywalker as well. Like,
Was he really?
yeah, he was going to be the young Emperor in the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
So
no.
presumably in that flashback scene where you see his kid and stuff like that, I don't know, but yeah, he was supposed to be in it. But then you look at it on the flip side, Doctor
Hmm.
Who. Obviously, he's you know the 11th is he's I I struggle as to whether he is my favorite. I'm not sure. It's
Mm,
between him and David Tennant. I can't decide. As probably with most people.
yeah.
Um. Uh. So yeah, there's Doctor Who. He did House of Dragons. He's fantastic in House of
He's
Dragons.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the series review of that, mate, because like it is just chef's kiss, that series.
Mm,
Mwah. It is something I look forward to every week. And then Last Night in Soho, he is fantastic, and that is a
great movie.
fantastic film that
Mm,
did not get enough of a viewing. So if you've got a streaming service, or if you can get Last Night in Soho, and you're in for a bit of a spooky London 60s movie, watch Last Night in Soho. Matt Smith is amazing in it. It's fantastic. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Matt Smith. We are here to talk about Andor. And
Can I tell
Adria
this
Arjona.
one last story about Matt Smith?
Okay, yeah, go on.
Another interview. Uh, they said on the flight, Keanu Reeves was adjacent to them, and they said they saw Keanu Reeves watch Morbius and then watched Clockwork Orange, like in a sort of double feature. And Matt Smith was just like in hysterics. Like he was like, "I love Keanu. I can't
That's
believe
the
he's seen a movie
weirdest.
with me."
That is the weirdest comedy. What I love about that story is
Mm,
that implies that world-renowned nice man Keanu Reeves watched Morbius,
Yeah.
and the film made him want to watch a movie about serial killers and rapists. That's what Morbius does to ordinary people, ladies and gentlemen. He really went into Morbin time with that one. Blimey. Well, there we go.
Wow.
He's a film scholar, Keanu Reeves. He likes all kinds of movies. What can you say?
Exactly.
So anyway,
Exactly.
yeah. So Andor. So my question for you, Zane, on this one, right? After seeing the
Mhm.
first episode and seeing the kind of very slow burn that it's obviously going to be, but I will say this, right? I'm not
Mhm.
knocking this first episode. There are slow burns, and then there are boring slow burns, right? And
Yeah.
like the Lord of the Rings was a boring slow burn. Like the first
Yeah.
episode of Lord of the Rings, I was like, this is a slog to get through. This is
Oh
really
yeah.
hard to get through. Whereas this one was like, oh, it's going quite slow, but I want to know what happens. But with that in mind,
Mhm.
where do you think this is going? I mean, like, how many series can you do before you get, well, 5, I guess, before you get up to Rogue One? But like, do you know what I mean? Like, where do you go
Yeah.
with this? Is this going to be? Because I forget in the Star Wars timeline if the Rebel Alliance has been formed yet. It must have been, because Obi-Wan was 10 years before, and that's already been established as having the Rebel Alliance in it. So
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I think based off the logo as well,
mm,
and I guess the whole philosophy behind this as well is that Cassian is part of sort of the genesis of what would become the Rebel Alliance. Like he's part of that first, like,
yeah, it's very weird. The formation of the Rebel Alliance has been a kind of contentious canon ideology in
mm,
Star Wars for ages. Because when it was in Lucas era, the Force Unleashed was technically the canon origin of the Rebel Alliance. Like that is legitimate.
yeah,
Starkiller dies at the end of it, and that's what creates a martyr that forms the Rebel Alliance. But then in other things, it seems to have been Leia that Solo forms the Rebel Alliance with Mon Mothma. Well, not Solo, obviously with Mon Mothma and with her dad and
yeah,
other people. So it's a very contentious way, and I don't know whether we're going to get it clear. The Rebel Alliance must exist because there's people. We've had that bit in Obi-Wan where I've forgotten what the Jedi's name now is.
Oh,
Oh,
you're talking about Voss? Is it Voss?
Quinlan Voss. Yes, thank you.
Quinlan
Yes,
Voss? Yeah,
yeah, Quinlan was here. You see Quinlan on the wall with the Rebel Alliance logo above it, and then
yeah,
it's also got the uh, the Republic, the New Republic logo up there.
yeah.
So like, it seems like there is some form of Rebel Alliance in Obi-Wan, which is before this.
Hmm.
So unless this is the origin of Cassian joining the Rebel Alliance and officially joining them as a member and then working with them, because Mon Mothma is in this, like she is going to appear in the series later on.
Okay.
Genevieve O'Reilly is playing her, and she will show up later on in the series. She's been in some of the trailers and screenshots and stuff like that they've had out there. So she will be in it. I'm excited to see because there's some good casting in this because Stellan Skarsgård's in this as well, which I'm
Yes.
guessing he turns up in the second episode maybe.
Hmm.
But I mean, there's an actor where, my God, what like the chops on that man. Good God, he's the only man who can make science sexy in a pair of pants. Watch Thor, guys. If you haven't watched Thor, that you'll know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. He brings a really interesting element to it. Here's a hot take as well. I get the sense that this might be like some sort of Han Solo inspired character.
What, Cassian Andor?
Mm.
I think he's. I think yes and no. I think he's more of a rogue. He's more of like a rogue smuggler
One.
esque. Yeah, yes, a rogue one. Um, no, I think it's just. I think the goal of this series, right? Hopefully,
Hmm.
interestingly, by the way, there's a couple of. I will say, I'm just looking at the cast listing on IMDb for this, and there's Mon Mothma, there's Sergeant Kostek, there's Cassian Andor, and then there's two actors. Wilf Scolding and Nuf Uslam, they don't have character names.
Oh,
That, to me, would suggest there's going to be some surprises in this, some mainstream
mm.
surprises. So I wonder who they might be playing. I will tell you right now, Wilf Scolding looks an awful lot like Darth Maul.
But they could be in like suits, right? Like maybe
Yeah,
some
that's true.
sort of like heavy duty
Yeah,
costumes.
they could be.
Mm.
They could be. What are you thinking? What, that they're secretly playing a dark trooper?
Dark Trooper. Maybe they wear
Ah, no
Mandalorian armor.
Okay, that's wild. So the guy who plays Wilf Scolding, I knew
Uh
I
huh.
recognized the name. He was the man who played. It's in the flashbacks, but he played Rhaegar Targaryen in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
So you know the
okay.
guy who marries. Sorry, spoilers for Game of Thrones, guys. Rhaegar Targaryen, Jon Snow's dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's him. It's the same actor who's going to turn up in
Mm.
this. And yeah, he's uncredited. They don't have a casting for him.
Interesting.
So I wonder who he's going to be. Possibly an Inquisitor, maybe as well.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Quite possibly. Um, yeah, fascinating. Yeah, I think that the goal of this series, and I hope what the goal is, going back to what I was saying earlier on,
Mm.
what I hope the goal of this series is to prove that you can have an interesting character driven plot
Mm-hmm.
where you see this wonderful world that George Lucas created, Star Wars, where anything can happen, and
Yep.
it doesn't, you don't have to have a Jedi or a Sith or the Force or lightsabers to have a really impactful, interesting story and surroundings. The
Yeah.
weight of that universe does carry. And the first episode's been great. Like the first episode's been really, really good. I think that the Mandalorian is the best balance between that, where it's like you see the other side of things, where it's like they're not Jedi's, but there's still things like dark sabers and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
Grogu still has force powers and stuff, and it's
Bounty
like
hunters and yeah.
exactly, and it feels like so you got the films which are full Jedi big bosh wow, then you've got this, which kind of feels like a more urban, like
Boots
gritty
on the
on the ground.
ground.
Yeah, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I really enjoyed the first episode. I would highly recommend anyone who has an interest in Star Wars lore or the universe as a whole, give this a watch because it's I I've got no better way of saying it than this was unlike anything I've seen that is Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's very spy thriller Star Wars, which is cool. It is cool.
I just like the idea that it's aimed more at adults. That there can be these adult stories within the Star Wars universe, instead of these childlike stories to sell action figures.
I think there's a mix to be found with that. If I'm honest with you, Zane, I think
Mm.
that I agree with you. Like I grew up with Star Wars. Like I grew up on the movies handed down from my brother, ironically enough. But like I you know 4, 5, and 6, I must have watched thousands of times. From a young age up to where I am now.
Hmm.
They are my they are my sci-fi of choice when I was a youth. Um, I wish I was still a youth. And so this is cool for me because that's
Mm.
like the things that I had when I was a kid grown up. However, that being said,
Hmm.
I think that the fantastical element of Star Wars and the thing that makes it childlike and the thing that stuck with me for so long was that it was so universally easy to absorb as a kid, even though it was
Mm.
it wasn't really an adult film, but it also wasn't like a fully kids film,
Sure.
and I think that I hope they don't lose that. I'd quite like to see a very happy-go-lucky Star Wars again. Where it's kind of like it is about the adventure. That's what Star Wars is all
Yeah.
about. It's about the
Yeah.
the the adventure and the journey, and one person growing up. Like you look at the stories between Luke and Anakin, and it's like they're almost the same, with
Yeah.
just slight tweaks here and there that change their characters. It's like Anakin was always hungry for power. Luke always just wanted to help people. And it's and their journeys are similar. They're both trained by Obi-Wan, and then both have incredible events that change their lives forever, and make them heroes of the Republic. And it's the same thing, and it's just how it
Yep.
diverges. Um,
But
but
we
we've all
live in a post, you know, OG Star Wars phase now, because the
yeah,
last three weren't nearly as in depth as the originals, sadly.
and I think there's space to learn from that. I
Mm.
think you
Don't need to roll out a new droid every movie for.
I don't mind if they roll out another BB-8. I've got no problems with that. Like, it wasn't the droids that were the problem. The problem is that you had, if you want to do, like, let's do it. If you want to do a deep dive on the recent trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
this is not a deep dive. This is a high level overview.
Summarize.
Yeah, Force Awakens was a nostalgia fest that made everyone feel good about Star Wars again, and feel
Mm-hmm.
slightly sad, but also happy for Harrison Ford because he finally got to kill Han Solo. I thought I wonder what you're going to say then. Last
That's it.
Jedi,
Yeah.
there were faults in Last Jedi. There's no two ways about it. The murder of Snoke too quickly was a big problem. The
Mm-hmm.
murder of Captain Phasma too quickly was a big problem. However, the idea that he was telling a richer story,
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: the portrayal of Luke, I still agree with Mark Hamill. Terrible. It's not a
Yep.
good portrayal of Luke. However, I I appreciate the fact that Ryan Johnson was trying to tell a nuanced story with Star Wars and set the tone for the idea that it doesn't have to just be this one bloodline that has force powers. I
Mm-hmm.
really liked that. That was the takeaway message from the film, where it's like anyone can be special.
Yep.
Anyone can. It just is, a set of circumstance that will trigger it. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Rise of Skywalker was a complete studio knee jerk reaction to an annoyingly vocal part of social media.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, like, if they'd have shut up, and I'm speaking to everyone who voiced an opinion on this, and I don't care, right? If they'd have shut up about it, we would have
Mm-hmm.
got the Colin Trevorrow script.
Mm-hmm.
And having read that script online, it was much, much better than what we got. So sometimes Snyderverse, whatever you want to talk about it, yeah, okay, cool, it's good to see it. Other times, maybe just let things play out.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you should mention Rise of Skywalker. I don't know if you've seen this, but Boba Frigg, the little puppet that repairs
Yes.
C-3PO, is in this show.
Yes, he's in it. Yeah, I know. They had to bring him back. He was like the
Bring it
best. He was like the best part of Rise of Skywalker. He was the thing that made me laugh. I think when I saw Rise of Skywalker, I did enjoy it, but I think it was because I had like such fatigue from being in the because I'd done the triple bill, so I'd seen
Ooh.
Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker all back to back, and I was just wrecked, Zane. So when it came to the end, it's like, like that the Ben Solo arc is just like, oh, dude, it could have been so much better,
Could have been.
so much better.
That Dio droid, that is just a cop out for me. I was like, can't wait to find that in a Happy Meal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's what can you say? But I think there is room for another. Like, this is what we were saying though,
Mm.
and this is what I like about this is that this universe is so vast and so structured in that you can do anything in it, and
Mm.
you can have like spy TV series where it's set in the Star Wars universe where one guy's going against the Empire. That can happen, but you can
Mm-hmm.
also have a kind of kids adventure where it's like a young Padawan learning how to use the Force and growing up and having adventures.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted
Or
to do as a kid, and it's like,
yeah, or Big Bob getting a Snarlack and riding it in the finale. Like, it's fun.
oh my god! Not only did you call him Bob, but you also called it a Snarlack instead of a Sarlacc. What is wrong with you, Zane? What is wrong with you?
I just
honestly.
wanted to rile you up a little bit.
He needs me on Undisputed Anime. That's all I'm going to say. He needs me on it. But yeah, anyway, I will be continuing with Andor and watching the rest of the series. I don't know about you, Zane. Are you going to be watching the rest of it?
Yeah, I'll watch the rest of it. Like I said, I enjoyed episode 2 and 3. So it's Undisputed if we're going to give it a ranking.
Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't get boring like the second half of the first episode.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I think it's just I think it's more of an establishing of this is not your typical kind of Star. This is not your grandma's Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? This is adult proper Star Wars.
This isn't George's Star Wars.
This is George's Star Wars.
Tony Gilroy's Star
Wars.
This
is Marks and Spencer's Star Wars. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. But what did you guys think of Andor? Did you enjoy it? Was it a breath of fresh air to you? Was it something new to the Star Wars universe? Or did you hate it? Did you think this is the worst thing that you've seen since Jar Jar Binks? Well, write into us and let us know. Zane, where can they get hold of us?
You can email us, nerdsundisputed@gmail.com. You can also find us on your favorite social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, @undisputed_nerds.
I mentioned it earlier on the show, but you can get me on Twitch, twitch.tv/gentlemanthegamer. You can also find me on Instagram, on the gram, @gentlemanthegamer. Please feel free to slide into my DMs. Not with those kind of pictures, though. Zane, it's been a pleasure. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. What's going on next week?
Yes. What is happening next week?
Great. Yes. There you go, guys. Well, if you've got any suggestions for what we're going to talk about, write in, because we've got no idea right now. Probably just do a deep dive into something again. That'd be good. Look back on on our favorite Game of Thrones moments before the end of House of Dragon. Actually, how many episodes? I think it's it's still got a while to go. It's still got a while to go.
I think there's a time skip as well.
There is as of next week. Yeah, which I'm sad about because I really like the actress who plays Rhaenyra right now. She's amazing. But it's going to be Emma D'Arcy coming in. I never know how to pronounce her name because it's D and then
hyphen.
No, what's the apostrophe? D apostrophe ARCY.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm always like, wait, what is that? Like, it's like Rick Mail when he was in The New Statesman. His name's Alan Bastard. So I never know how to say it. D'Arcy. There you go. Can't end on a better note than that. Yeah, we'll be back talking about something next week, guys. But in the meantime, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and we love you very much.
Catch you next week. Bye bye.
See you, everyone. Bye bye.